Hey, boys and girls. Yeah, today's the 3rd of June. 4th of July is in about a month. Yeah, I was looking at the El Paso Meta AI Center, whatever. I looked at stuff. It's just my opinion and what I've seen. Uh, they say there's 3 to 4 thousand data centers already in the United States. I just found this out. I heard about it. I don't pay that much attention to it. So now it's like every day on Facebook or Instagram. And this one, I think, is supposed to be put on government property on Fort Bliss. But I'm seeing some other stuff Michigan, West Virginia, Abilene, Texas. They already got some right next to residential. You can't sleep anymore. One rancher said his cows haven't had a calf for 6 months. It's fucking them up. So we don't want this. If they use water's already precious if they're using talking millions of gallons a day. I heard 500 million or something. It's not that much, but they say it's a closed loop. Uh, why not? Why would it be water? Makes me suspicious. Not something like antifreeze. You spend all this millions and billions building this gigantic artificial intelligence what that's all they tell you. Do we need it? Yeah, one guy makes a comment. It just we have to have it because otherwise we'll fall behind China. Well, let the Chinese come over. They got some beautiful women and they make great food. So the world's all fucked up anyhow. Is that what's? I need a reference point. Does China have 10,000 data centers all over? Of course, that's a huge country, but does Russia have them? What up? Like feels like they're trying to slip it in you while you're sleeping. So then they come out with this mayor here. I'm starting not to like him at all. That they print the legal document says that basically they can't get out of this contract they signed. And one guy says you always. My nephew's a lawyer. Here we go back to the legalese, the legal language. Says you always got a stipulation or something that says you can get out of that contract. That's what I would think. Now here's the deal. Well, it's going to cost the taxpayers, but yet they said they passed it from the city council probably at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night or some Sunday morning. The comments I'm seeing, it's not to the contrary. So you need to look at some of these YouTube videos from ranchers and people. There's one veterans over there in Abilene with a AOC, Alexandria Ortega Cortez Sinatra. She finally says she went down to Georgia and found, I think, Decatur or somewhere around Atlanta. Comes back with a bottle of water. This white lady's got, since the data center a block over or something is up and running, that the water is filthy brown. Well, now, if you put a stipulation in that meta, whatever the fuck I ever say it, if there is any destruction or disruption of the residents' drinking water, you take tests before and after, whatever, so you have a reference point. If it's their fault or it has something to do with it, that's going to cost millions in a lawsuit also, where they have to make good for it. I've suggested for the last couple of weeks. I looked a couple of years back, trying to save. I'm a penny pincher, trying to save money and get water. Says the El Paso aquifer is like three to 5,000 feet deep. So it says it would take a couple of months of drilling. So I'm figuring, I'm just guessing around 300,000, and you got a good water source additional. The Rio Grande, they're letting some water come in now from New Mexico. That's for the ranchers and all. So this is desert, but there's water on it. It costs money. West Texas and all that is nothing but drilling. Oil wells, I have one guy drill a well for me in my property in Paco. So he was only charging $10 a foot back then for a water well. So you're up in the big leagues now. So, but I don't know. I've been driving a truck the last 16 years. El Paso's trying to act like L.A. Now they're saying the cops are not being supported if they touch a senior citizen running after a perpetrator, that the citizen could sue them for $500,000 or something, that the PBA or something don't want to back them up, or the city, they got to say you're on your own. The officer will have to pay for any damages done or whatever court costs and lawyer fees. And what the fuck? I just I think about shit for a while. I grew up here, but I didn't really have to pay attention to what was going on with the. That's what my dad used to say. Politics is all bullshit, really. So I'm looking at the national politics and the global politics. It's a giant chess game. My question is, if you have 3 or 4 thousand data centers in the United States already, maybe there's 2,000 that are up and running now. They got me confused. You got satellites, and Elon Musk made this Starlink. I've been trying to figure this out for a while. It gets a little complicated, but what is it that you have to have? My laptop, my smartphone, everything. I had a cell phone back in the 80s when I was driving a truck. It was like an attaché case, it was like a little briefcase. You have to plug that in a cigarette lighter, but the LA papers are all busted and everything else. So stay in touch and all that. But everything over time, like I used to have stereos, now it's just high quality earplugs, and everything gets smaller. So it's saying some of the computer chip, what they do now is stack it on top of each other, and that gives you, tiny, about the size of a pinhead or some shit. My nephew does that, but he don't want to talk. He's drunk half the time. So you look it up on Google, you get a clue here and there. If I got AT&T for my carrier. Now, if they build this thing next year in Fort Bliss, does that mean I sign up, or is it going to be more? Is it going to cost more? First thing, is it going to be cheaper? Is it going to be $35, $50 a month for light? We started with that 5G. I'm out there driving a truck. I think it's like 2G, and then 2 or 3G and then 5G or something like that. It went up to 5G. I heard there was a 6G. Uh, what does this shit end? I mean, how fast is fast? How fast do you need? I think they got the Formula One in Monaco coming up. I was watching the Indy 500. Motherfuckers doing 225 miles an hour. That's like the Le Mans 24-hour race. I was over there in 71. I snuck in. I'm like 20 years old, 21. I'm standing there by the pick by the wire by the fence, and I see these guys coming at the end of the straightaway. They're doing 225 an hour, roughly, give or take a month. And them guys are like a foot apart. I mean, from what you see, I mean, they're going by. Yeah, I say that too. I mean, you come by, you see this thing, you see them fly by, you really can't even tell nothing. It says they go into this S curve, and I couldn't even see nothing from there from the peanut gallery. But you guys are coming into Monaco with a $2 billion yacht or whatever. Like, how much is too much? What's it? A single billionaire and he's got his wife and his daughter. What fun is that? It's all feeding the ego. What is it that you're trying to sell to the American public that we have to be? It showed a comparison from 1965 as a nice lady dressed. Now you got a girl in sweatpants, and there's a guy sitting there that, halfway in shape. Now today, you got this young, big, fat, flabby ass, but he's got a $1,000 phone in his, he get back to basics. It was an AA thing, also back to basics. What is it you're trying to do? I got this cheap laptop and a smartphone, and I'm just trying to eat better, whatever. There's so much information that just my mind's ready to explode. But into education on my mother and father and all. Okay, so now I've learned everything there is to learn in the world. Now what? Jump in front of a freight train. I really. Now, what I started to say about those, let's say you got 2,000 up and running data centers, are they not interconnected or connected somehow? Why you got? What's the matter with you? Why you got so many? I don't get it. Other than that conspiracy where there's some amount of Elon Musk and all that billionaire crowd is filling their pockets over here. They're creating a new way to remain billionaires or become trillionaires. What is the purpose? I can't keep up with the Chinese. I seen, I'm going back 10 or 12 years ago to tall, skinny, tall son of a bitches. They're all like in fashion. They're walking down the street. They got the lady with them or something. They're all into this fashion. I've seen more Chinese guys. I had a sports all the time in Long Beach with it, but every so often, things, and the guy, he's not even space. Kick starts it, fucking purring, riding off, real simple. I had one Chinese mechanic down Long Beach. They had a Datsun. First time I ever had a Jap car, but little 4-speed, little hatchback, $600, $700. Anyhow, third gear is popping out. It pop out of gear or something. What the fuck? I never had that happen. I always had that automatic transmission. My mother says she got a big ass Buick. She's living a couple of blocks over. She says I found a mechanic. He's Chinese, but I took my car to him. Go over there and see the guy. All right. I went over. I'm desperate. I'm doing deliveries. I gotta take care of that. I ain't dropping that train. There's no way to work there. I'm on the streets and all that shit. I took Mr. Lee. Look at all that beautiful little guy. Kind of about a bang, by bang. I think 2 days later, okay, Mr. Gutierrez, he say, you picking your car and finish. Yeah, how much is $250, $300, something like that. Not bad. You know, wasn't all that more. Somewhere around two. I can't remember. Pretty quick. I've been to American Mechanics, a month later. I had a guy up in Oregon keep my fucking car for 8 fucking months. I had a Lincoln to get rebuild a tranny. They don't make them no more. They're hard to find, and you don't want to spend money. You're going to wait. That's great. It's all about money, lawyers, and I'm watching with Trump. The guys makes deals and all these hustling stuff. I got this limo driver from Brooklyn. This Jewish guy got a schnoz and a half. Guy's about 80 something. Donald Trump around, I guess, back in the 70s in New York. He says, he told me, you got your list of clients. Why don't you just call them up and get your own car and they'll drive you around, cut out the middleman. There's nothing new. He says, Donald Trump says, you got to lie, steal, and cheat to be honest in business. My buddy told me in LA, he says, to make money, be successful, you gotta same thing. You gotta fuck people over. And I don't like doing that. Maybe that's why I'm broke, But you also gotta answer come judgment day. You gotta live with yourself, So I don't know, maybe. I guess with Trump, I mean, he's not. I think he's a leader, though. We need somebody in that position that we know politics is corrupt. With this guy looking at that Epstein files, and he says with that Pizzagate, and he says Zelensky went. They got some emails with Epstein and Zelensky now. I was like, I don't care no more. If these young women got fucked over, God bless them, man. But it's like, fuck, it's almost like World War III. Like, we have other things to take care of, It's a rough life, I've gotten fucked over many times in my life. You just got to pull yourself up and keep on stepping, whatever. The resolution like the Korean War, it's like about 20, 30 degrees below zero. I've seen that Lake Chosin, Chosin, in North Korea back in the early 50s. I think it was 50, 51, 52. I thought I saw or it said that there's a couple of soldiers, the Marine Corps, that are frostbite. There's nowhere to, that kind of resolve. I couldn't do that. I'd probably just lay down and freeze to death. Fuck it, it's just more than I can handle. Maybe when I was 18 or 19 or something, but And it said some of them had lost their boots or something. Can you imagine that? The truckers always, I say, I'm from El Paso. I can take the heat better when it gets 10 below up north. I can't handle it outside Chicago in the winter. And them cocks come out down south. It's 96. My nephew, he lives in Phoenix and Orange County. 160. Well, you're tough on Victor up out here. Motherfucker, it's 106. I did. AC went out of Phoenix a couple of times. I laid down, I put the fan on me in the bunk, open the window. There's nothing else you can do. And go get some cold tea or go sit in the lounge at the Love's truck stop or something. It's unbearable. 3, 4, 5, 6 in the afternoon. I seen one old guy loading my trailer, taking off like plastic jugs or something off the pallet, putting it on the floor. That's another thing. What are these brokers and dispatchers, brokers, shippers at trucking? Why the fuck? It's the year 2026. How the fuck you gonna? It's called a pallet exchange. You're going to give up these 20, 22 pallets to go in my trailer. I'm going to drop it to Mr. Jones over here at the grocery store, whatever, and he's going to take off the pallet. It's a lot quicker. And just, okay, I've got 10 of your pallets and you got 10 of my pallets. We're even. You got 100 of my pallets. Anytime you need them, you send a truck, fill up the truck with pallets, whatever. Flat or whatever. This is business. You got to spend money. You got to make money. It's how the fuck are you in that kind of heat? This guy's he was a good 70. He's out for like 4 hours unloading with water. That's all they got to drink some water. I'm blessed. I'm being grateful. At least I got a little bit of common sense or whatever you know. I see, people die out here, whatnot. A YouTube fucking car accident. This kid shot himself with his dad's gun. Shot his parents and his two sisters. The guy's 8 years old. I don't. I mean, shit happens. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt what they're putting out on YouTube. Of course, they're all trying to they're so desperate to get a click or a like. They put out something that just all this way out shit. I scan over it real quick. That's not even. Who knows? Iran is going against Trump. Iran is cooperating with Trump. You don't even. That's what they want you confused. You don't even know what's real anymore. The top guy, journalist for I don't know CNN or something, they fired him. He got into it with whatever. I'm sure Rosie O'Donnell will tell us the truth, and Ellen. Yeah, I'm watching all these old celebrities are still with a $3,000, $6,000 evening gown. Keep walking, motherfucker. Just I don't watch that shit no more because they're all trying to be elite ruling, not even politicians, to influence the people mostly against Trump right now. But I don't know. Like Rodney King, why can't we all just get along? What's the big fucking deal? If my they if can you imagine if the Republicans and Democrats got along, passed a bill, quit wasting time, and produce the economy. Yeah, it's not going to go to Mars and back. It's just everybody. How much do you need? I mean, I got T-shirts. I got home a year and a half ago. I said I'm going to retire. I'll take a shower, lay down. So, fucking, I'm out of T-shirts. So Walmart, you get four T-shirts for what, $14 or something, $3 a piece. Okay, they're going to last you. For God's sakes, they're going to last you a year or so, or 2 years, whatever. I look up the good ones for the winter. I like the Carhartt. It's a little thicker, these are like 3 millimeter. The other ones are like 5 millimeter thickness. Tell me I get too warm in the chest, I start. Boy, I don't feel right. So I got that Carhartt jacket. It was I think $100 in the truck. I got a little Dickies mechanic's jacket, thermal, a flannel shirt. Used that for about 6, 7 years, 8 years in the truck, and I had fucking pneumonia, called pneumonia twice. I get this Carhartt because you're up Chicago, up north, Wyoming, JB Hunt, and all that. Reno in the winter, going through the Rocky Mountains. Most guys from back east won't come out west. Oh, it was cold. Nah, fuck, you don't know what cold is, motherfuckers. A mountain. Yeah. Anyhow, the thing is, I got one guy, I think it was a state trooper in, it was Wyoming, or somewhere around there. I'm freezing my nuts off. Fucking wind blowing, there's a storm coming in, from the Pacific. This guy rolls up, goes in and gets a coffee or something. He's fucking short sleeves. I don't even want to look at him, man. I got a draft coming in through my door. My arm gets half frozen and shit. I buy this jacket, marron. It's woo, a canvas. I was gonna cover my Cadillac out here with the sun. I bought a large plastic tarp, $7, $8 from Walmart, $10. And it was outside in the sun. I think this summer, since last year, about 13, 14 months, and the wind, a little bit of rain, and then the sun again. I brought it inside. It's coming apart. I was on dirt. And I said, put that tarp down so you don't get so dusty. And that fucking thing, I'm picking it up. This thing's coming apart. Now, if you get a canvas to cover the car, uh, that's probably, I think I'll be around 50, maybe $60. But I mean, now hopefully, see, I grew up here in El Paso. It's Fort Bliss. Army stuff is usually made of canvas, heavy duty. So to give you an idea of something like that, when you're out there working, you break down. You got to go out there. You got to get outside. It's rough, man. The thing I don't like about that jacket is kind of bulky. You can't move too good. I got those overalls, for emergency because they're very uncomfortable to. I got one that was too tight. I got a larger one, $50, $60 at Walmart, and whatever. I give it up, man. I've been 22 years. If you don't like me, you don't like me. That's I'm not trying to be the trucker of the century anymore. I had this thing warning is things disconnected. I don't know. And the reason I talk like this, I try to vent. I get frustrated. I wish I had. I'm human, but I read the Bible every day. Just humble, accepting. I'm 47 years clean and sober. My relationships didn't work out. My son died. I'm the baby of the family. All the families. I I think I got 5 or 6 family members left. That's it. You know? And I don't want to talk. I got 2 ladies I talk. That will get you on the bus back in the day. You know, God bless them. But you know, I guess they're friends. I'm not good at having female friends. You know, so just try to kick it back and forth. And I get on this just to talk and just to go through the months. I work from Walmart and they come and they don't speak English. Getting half of Africa over here. What the fuck? Motherfuckers got a brand new car. They're working for Walmart. 27, 29 years old. Don't speak a word of English. Don't throw the packages at you. Walk them over to the steps in the house. You know. I get them back. There goes your tip, motherfucker. I ain't giving you nothing. You know. It's not because you're black. It's not. It's partly because you're from Africa. It's partly because you got a $30,000 car. My car's not running. You're young. You don't want to hear me. You snub me for, I guess, because I'm old or you think I'm white or some shit. It's like, hey, fuck you, man. You know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I grew up here. See, now I learned a lesson when I grew up in El Paso. You got Juarez, Mexico, 5 minutes, 7 minutes from that. I'm in Central El Paso. We used to go with my dad to take mom and me shopping. Fedco, that was a discount store like Costco or something. Fedmart, yeah, like Walmart, whatever. They had nickel and dime, Newberries downtown, 5 and 10. All your little stuff, you know. And I grew up like that. And then my dad would go over to Juarez, even fucking cheaper. My mom was bitching would say, "You want to go get that cheap shit? It's a little cheaper. It's also not that American, that good heavy duty quality." So I had both, you know. Trucking, the Cadillac. Well, we don't make those parts after 10 years. And my friend brought me a Hemmings Motor News. I was selling used cars. He said, "Here, Vic, anything you need, you big, pretty thick up in New Hampshire. It's going to cost max steering wheel is going to be $700 just for the steering wheel. Well, I only paid $1,500 for the truck. You know, why am I going to things? I'm not going to complete rebuild. You know, rotisserie. They strip the car all the way down. That's the way to do it. But you better know your shit. I bet you 50-50 that you went to a mechanics repair school for 10 months to a year and spent probably like that. You know, I took my driving test in New York in 75. It was $35 an hour on 14th Street, model driving school. $35 an hour. You take 1 hour a day, drive, put your blinkers on, go up the street, make a left, make a right, da 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 da. A Vietnam vet from Brooklyn. This guy, fucking great guy. Check the truck before you start it, and then trying to parallel park, just a tractor. And then we got a 20-foot. We went to pick up this 20-foot container. Yeah, you gotta back into it, hook up the air hoses, the electric, crank it down, you know, then drive through traffic like that to get the hang of it a little bit. They're trying to teach you. And it's $35 for the test. I was hung over. My ex had taken off or something. I got drunk to show her, and I was so fucked up. The next day is weird. I parked just park right in this spot here. Backed up, do opposite than the car. Nailed the guy 1 foot from the curb. Fucking nailed it. I said, look at that. And the guy says to me, pull up, do it again. I fucked up. I couldn't get it. Saved my life. But I went ahead and I said, I'm hungover. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. My ex took off and shit. Got drunk. So anyway, I took the test. I passed it. This guy had just bought a brand new pack of Camels, and the guy says, "Make a left down by Delancey, the 7th precinct." I had a new packet in. The guy's make a left over here. I'm making a left. It's a green light. New Yorkers won't let you in. Fucking traffic. Boom, boom, boom. About 10 in the morning, 9:30, 10. They won't let you in. The light changes. Traffic starts to say, fuck. There's nothing I can do. He's sitting right there. Went ahead and go in there. He's writing down some shit. He said, the only thing I didn't like is that you didn't make that left turn. What do you want me to do? I'll look at a motherfucker, maybe honk the horn. Hey, stop, motherfucker. I put my arm out the window. Hey, stop. I got to go. Fuck. This is. Anyhow, the guy says, hey, can you spare one of them Camels? Yeah, sure, man. Here, help yourself. He passed me. What? So I go to Oregon. This is 1995. 20 years later, they just built a little community college. They put it up in about a year. He says, "Oh, truck driving school. They got that there." So I went over there. And talk. I says, "Hey, I was looking. You got a refresher course because you get. It's been a while. You don't have the hang of it, or you don't have the confidence, or whatever." Yeah, Mr. Jones, he'll be right back. He's over here in the meeting. I'll tell him you have a seat. He'll be here in about 20 minutes or something. Okay, I got my kid, but I said, okay, this is important. I said, I'd like a refresher course. It's been about 15 years since I drove a truck, and I want to get my CDL. The guy goes, it's a 2-month course. I'm figuring, 3, 4, 5 days max. Maybe a couple of $100, 300, something like that. Yeah, because the first one was $165 for the week, and then 30. It was $200 total with the test and all that shit. And then I think it was 35 bucks for the license. It was 75. Now, now it's $100 in El Paso. But anyhow, the guy, I says 2 months. This is 2 months. He says, yeah, like 6 months in class and then 2 weeks local. 6 weeks of class. Well, what the fuck is, I just don't know what that is. How did it get so complicated all of a sudden? And the guy says, and I says, how much is it? The motherfucker back in 95, my kid was like a year or two old. He says, $5, $6, $7,000, something like that, 8,000. I'm guessing around 6. I can't remember exactly, but 6,000. I'm talking $300. He's talking $6,000 in 2 months. What I did, I got the driver's manual. I got to fudge a little bit, but I went looking to buy a used truck, 5, 6, 7, 800. Yeah, I found an old Chevy truck, but I couldn't get it started. I had trouble with it. The guy was used to it. He got it started right away, but I could not get it to start. That foot pedal, turn the key on and then hit it with your foot. I don't know. It didn't like me or something, whatever. And then I think I put that on hold. We moved to Kansas. Like, yeah, me and my son moved to Kansas looking for a house to flip, to fix up. I found one. I got beat on that one. That guy's a con artist. Anyhow, I got the book again. I'm reading it. I went to get my permit. I bought a car carrier for 2,500, and I had called the guy up, the orange ones. They were over there out of Illinois, Normal, Illinois. So I called the guy. I says, I asked you a question. I said, I bought a used truck on eBay with 20 car carrier, full 13 car, big one, you know. And he says, if you don't mind me asking you, how much did you pay for that? I said, 2,500. I said, if you don't mind me asking you, I said, what do you usually get for them when they're used? 10, 15 years old, they're pretty well beat, million miles and all that. So we usually get 25,000 for the. Oh, okay. What I did, I went to Columbus, Ohio with my son. I got a limo. Driving out there, I buy this fucking thing. I got to wait 2 or 3 hours. The guy's so and so car group or whatever, but he gave me a good fucking price. So he's got to call his guy to come bring it from the yard to a couple blocks away. There's a empty lot. I pulls it over there. I go with the limo over there. Motherfucker ain't got no car ramps. So I get that limo's kind of light. It's a 85, 86. I found some rocks and some boards and just very carefully made a little ramp on each side that got that limo up there. Thank God. And get my son into the truck. Luckily, it was running and all that shit. I took some chances, but it was Saturday morning and I took off. I had a little money, drive back to Kansas. Now, on the weekend, everything's closed. All the inspection stations are closed. So I went, and Sunday night, I'm almost back to, I still got to go about 150 miles to Harrington, Kansas. So now I'm used to all day Saturday, Sunday. I'm used to all these friggin' about every 70, 80 miles is an inspection station. They're all closed. I said, fuck it, you know. And then I'm getting back Monday morning. It's almost afternoon. I'm getting all the way back to Harrington. About 50 miles east, there's a inspection station. Motherfucker's open. So I pull in there. Now, I got a permit. Got my Bible with me. I got my son with me. Lady says, pull it on the side. Bring your paperwork in. So I come in there. Hey, lady, here's the deal. My son's disabled. I just went to get this. Says to me, I'm working here with he's got a broken arm or some shit. I was like, oh, fuck. She says, you're supposed to have your license. Yeah. Now here's a catch to it too. You got to have uh, somebody with the CDL riding with you when you have your permit to practice and all that. And when you get to the motor vehicles, tell your friend to wait for you. Take you for a test. So I did that. I went to Kansas State. I told the guy my situation. He says, you don't have to take the test. I said, I took 6 years in LA, Come back, put my kid in the back of the car. Can't find nobody to watch him. I put him in the back. I hope you don't open the door and get run over. It's that bad, So he's got a 1955 low boy, about 20 foot, an old fucking beater truck. They're cool, man. The fucking shit works, Right. Put some gas, step on it. Too slow. I'm old. I'm 160. He says, hey, yeah, you passed. Tell me what you need to do to inspect this. You got to, he said, just stand here and tell me. Okay. First, check your blinker lights, and then your headlights, the high beams, the horn, your air pressure. Okay, let's go to the back and check the tail lights or something. Hit the brakes, start the motor up, all this shit. So he passes me, and I gave him a check. He said, "This better be good." He said, "Or I'm going to come to you." I said, "Nah, that's good. It's good as gold." But I guess, guys, this is truck drivers. If they can beat you, or a state highway patrol, or an instructor, if they can beat you out of 150, they will. It's the way it is, Even though it's the Bible Belt in Kansas and all that, and it's all white people, it's still. So as I straightened that out, I went and got over there south of Chicago. Got that 58 Mac and 62 Mac. I bought for 500. I got a little flatbed on eBay. The guy knew where the Mack truck was. I was getting the second one. I says, I'm going to go over there and pick up in a limo with my son. And he says, yeah, I'm about 200 miles from. I says, could you do me a favor? Drop that trailer over there, so I get the Mack truck, hook up to the trailer, put the. I don't know if the guy's got a ramp. Yeah, he got a ramp, and I put that limo on the flatbed. I didn't tie it down, so again, almost back to Harrington, and I go to an inspection or something. The guy comes out yelling and screaming, calls up his supervisor, tells me that I drove a flatbed. I was sitting there for about 2 hours, and he says, you don't have no straps. I got the emergency brake on, the thing's in drive. It's kind of a light, I think my 68 Cadillac's heavier than that is, but I didn't know. Like I see some guys like, hey, dumbass, if you don't know, you're going to find out. Hopefully you don't kill yourself. He says, the thing is, if you got to they got some right angle country roads, 90-degree turn, I was, this guy's fucking crazy because I'm on the interstate. So later that night, I'm driving. I'm trying to take a shortcut to the house to save a little fuel. And sure as shooting, I find man, I had this come pitch dark. There's no lights or nothing. All of a sudden, it's you see a fucking fence right there. You're doing about 50, 55. And it's a 90-degree right. Motherfucker, I hit the fucking brakes. And my son comes sliding off the seat. And luckily, that car, it might have moved an inch or two. Thank God, because if the brakes, the train is still in drive, it's not really going to, if that happens, going to come through the cab, probably kill both of us. That's if. So after that, I'm going to the store next time. I said, you got a couple of straps. I said, put down some straps. The guy took me outside and showed me. He said, be very careful. But the supervisor said, if you're an owner operator, that's your responsibility. So the law is a little different. So I caught a break, But then I says, hey, I'm trying to learn, man. I'm trying to make money. My son's over here. He's 10. He eats like a horse, whatnot. And that's how you learn by doing. And if I told you, see what you got out there now, these ragheads and shit, go over and kick the tire, check the tire, not with a hammer or a stick. Just touch it with their little flip flop. Touch it to see if it's got air in it. Well, okay, you could tell if it's got air in it or not. It's not flat, but you hit it and you hear that sound. You can tell if it's got to have over 80 pounds of pressure in those truck and trailer tires. Otherwise, it's a violation. One or two of these guys, I got the guy I used to park in El Paso, Nunez. He lightly taps his hand on the tire. He says, that tire's low. Yeah, you motherfucker. When I got my tire, let me check it. Sure as shooting, it was like 70 pounds, like 10 pounds of pressure, which when you're running, it'll wear out the tire and, a little bit of a drag and it'll cost you a little extra diesel. So you want to have all your tires, you know, I don't know. Now, one they say like on the cars, that Cadillac, I put 32 pounds, says so on the side of the tire, 32 to 35 pounds, something like that. I always put 32. That's the way I grew up. Always never really had a problem, but don't know any better either. They do studies on this, research and all that, and it says you get better gas mileage, tire. You don't want to overinflate. I've been told about that. Don't put too much air in there. It'll blow up, might fuck you up. But so I sometimes put 33, 34. Because the tire always looked like it's still bulging a little bit. Well, that's the new style and whatnot. I don't know. So I'm just trying to be grandpa here and tell you what this. They've turned it into. It's like with this AI center. They've turned this stuff into a whole different ball game. It's always separating the money people from the rest of us. So as long as you're aware of it, you can kind of see it. When I was like this in the truck, I'm glued to. I got this fucking end up with the signals are hitting your brain or something, and it's not good, whatever. So like now I sit here like this, and I don't know, man. Some people are swearing this get brain damage. It's scientific, medical. They've done studies that this thing will fuck up your brain, the signals. Who knows? We get it because, you can talk to your girlfriend or your friend, and a lot of girl pictures on there. So you're looking. The basic with these elites is if they don't want to kill us all, or figure out how to trap you, or financially, it says they want you to be slaves all your life to the dollar bill. And so many advertising and all. I'm looking at this new stuff with cars. The summer sale for a new Nissan, 17,000. The year end. I said, well, that's not bad. I got some cash. Maybe I'll offer the guy 12,000 cash. If he hadn't sold it by the end of the summer, let me get that car because it's brand new. But I got the cash, and they figure out ways to. I don't know. It's new stuff. I don't even. I fix up my old car. Just keep it simple. And I'm looking at stuff with the circuit boards. I mean, I'm looking at shit where the guy starts out with a piece of wood, gets a light bulb fixture, screws it into the wood, puts a couple of wires to it, positive and negative, like a 9-volt battery, or make a little something, little steam with a piston that goes back and forth that'll turn a wheel, and it creates energy. It'll start to light the light bulb. That's about my speed right now. These guys, I mean, on and on. If it's that a logarithm, if you start looking at this shit now, you get bombarded with boom, get that board, pegboard or whatever. It's got the little holes in it, which is a battery, a light, LED lights, red ones, blue ones. They're cheap. This stuff is cheap. I was going to do that, but I've been putting it off. I think for $30 you get a deluxe kit, and then put it together and play with it. The circuit breakers, and what do you call it? The energy source, little transformer to get your voltmeter, and this turns the voltage from 0.5 to 1.5 or 3 volts whatever, on off switch. One light turns on, the other one turns off, whatever. Mexicans do that with the blinking lights. They're alleyway junkies or something, but they know, they steal electricity from the South America and shit. They have to. That's survival, but they learn you learn electricity. So I can't. I don't like with the Harley Davidson school. There was a electronic down in Florida and a Wild Tech. You got one down in Florida. There's a Harley Davidson school, and you learn electronics. Basically, how to rebuild a motor and shit like that. Adjust the valves, all that. Break it down and learn how it works. But there again, you're talking 5, 6, 10, 20 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's 10 grand now. If you're, I guess, under 100,000 a year, you're considered poor. Or the government gives you a Pell Grant or something to pay for that school. And you go for 9 months. Now you got to have a car that's running up and back and an apartment over there in Florida, which is going to cost you food. That's going to cost you about 25,000 by the time you're done. What I did, I bought a little Sportster and then fixing it and had it rebuilt. I was driving a truck. I had enough rebuild it. It didn't. Something went wrong. I had to do it a couple more times. Do as much as you can between you and your buddies and then the parts get expensive. But you learn. I'm basically doing the whole thing. Now he stole my fucking bike. These cocksuckers. So I thought, well, maybe get another one. But by the same token, you go get a brand new one at the dealer, a couple of years old or something. They got a repair shop in the back and all that. But you're going to pay that 120 an hour, 150 labor rate like that. And it's half the fun is working on it. It's a thrill to ride something, a new car, a new bike or something. But working on it it's really satisfying when you fix something yourself. That's old school. I put that screen on the wrought iron in the back, and I said, "Hey, that motherfucker's walking down the alley. They throw their shit in my yard. I got to clean all that shit up. The cat comes in and shits." I look back and I says, "You know what? No more fucking cat shit." And I only pick up that garbage once, and throw it in the alley or something. I don't give a fuck. But little shit like that. I painted it. Still needs the one that was there for the last 20 years is my sister paid for that. It's all rusted through with his El Paso Sun. So I just slap some paint over the rust. I don't even give a shit. But looks nice. I got some not glossy black, but just flat black. Fucking looks nice. I mean, it looks clean. I don't have no money. The guy next door at the business security had a 10-foot. He had the Mexicans make that thing to perfection, the sliding door, a little key punch to get in and out, and the door slides over there. I've been, I was in, like, I'm looking at that Formula One. I was in Monaco, had that Euro Pass 70-71. I had heard of Monaco, Monte Carlo. And there's a place over there too, since I was like 6, 7 years old, the south of France. It's a nude beach. Get the fucking name of it, but go down there, walk around in nude if you want to. Anyhow, so I took a train down there, and it stopped in Monaco. It's just at the train station. I think it was outside of town a little bit. I was dead broke. I said, fuck it. I think I slept, or train was leaving in an hour or two going up north, back to Paris or something. I said, fuck it. So I'm seeing now they're pulling in $10 billion yachts. Motherfucker. What they did is smart because I'm looking about a year ago where they parked next to each other. Man, they like a truck. They ain't much more than a truck spot like this. I don't want to scrape your boat or my boat. So they put these black rubber things, they throw them over the side to kind of buffer, like a bumper kind of thing. That's a good idea. You can imagine the guy's half drunk. You know, they're all fucking. I think they're all half drunk, but they're backing it in. Yeah, too. You got these little boats that'll guide you like a tugboat, but I think they're too cheap to hire this guy. So you go. I can back it in. Next thing, boom. Oh shit! I hit this guy. Ah, man, he's over there fucking his girlfriend. Got to get out. So, well, what the fuck, man? You know. Oh man, I'm sorry. Well, here's my insurance company. Change phone numbers, different countries, Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever. So I noticed that the last couple of days. I think that's a very good idea. About like that, black, some black things like that, just to offer a little protection there. Okay, enough out of me. I see. God bless everybody. Have a good evening.